The Indiana Fever win in an upset over the Seattle Storm, and they prove that they can hold their own without Caitlin Clark. Now, Caitlin Clark is definitely still in a shooting slump. She attempted 6 3-pointers, made none of them. She went 3 for 13 all night, but she was still very efficient on the court. I was noticing that she was pulling gravity, getting a lot of her teammates open, getting them assists. I actually did not mind her performance tonight, other than not being able to hit a shot. But Aliyah Boston put on a masterclass, hitting a career-high 31 points, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and she shot 72%. And this is a Seattle Storm that have been doing very well. Between Neko Gumake, Gabby Williams, who is so athletic, and Skylar Diggins, those three have been actually dominating in the past few games. And they weren't bad tonight. I think that they weren't hitting their shots very well. The Seattle Storm were definitely lagging at the three. But Erica Wheeler, she in the last quarter, she was putting down the points, and she came away with 20 overall. I was watching Erica Wheeler guard Caitlin Clark, and I was like, who is this player? Her glow up has been fascinating to watch. And shout out to Erica Wheeler for, even though being on a completely different team, when Caitlin Clark does fall down, she does seem to go and check up on her. So that's kind of cool. I mean, E-Dub still does have the heart of many Indiana Fever fans. And Kelsey Mitchell reminded me of the old Kelsey Mitchell from the last half of last season. She was drilling points. She came away with 26 points. She had 4 rebounds, and this is a small Kelsey Mitchell with 4 rebounds and 4 assists. She even snuck a steal in there. And Lexi Hull recorded her first double-double of her entire career. Way to go, Lex. And I'm telling you, I have noticed some spice come out of Lexi Hull this season. I was hosting a live, and in the chat, I was thinking we have to give her a nickname. So, there was somebody that said the Lexecutioner, T-Rexy Lexi. But she's coming into her own. She is fighting back on that court sometimes, especially against the foul calls. Definitely would never have thought this last season. But she's so dependable on the court. What did she come away with? 15 points. She had 11 rebounds. I mean, she has been crashing the glass lately. And she had 2 steals. I loved Demiris Dantas on defense tonight. I don't normally say this, but I really appreciated the way when she was under the basket, just contesting everything, was not letting the Seattle Storm get up to score any field goal points, because the Seattle Storm are not known for scoring beyond the arc, and their front court of Ezi Magbagor, Dominique Malonga, and Neko Gumake is pretty frightening. So kudos to you, Demiris Dantas. Bon voyage to your trip to America, and can't wait to see you back. There was actually a point in the game where Caitlin Clark was off the court and I didn't notice. I'm telling you, this is not a common thing for me. I always notice when Caitlin Clark is off the court. I'm always holding my breath. And it kind of made me feel this sigh of relief, because I could tell that the Indiana Fever were really stepping it up, because I wouldn't say Caitlin Clark had a stinker. I'm going to say that Caitlin Clark is in a shooting slump, but because she was doing things around the court and getting open looks for her teammates, just doing little things that really helped her team score. But when she was off the court, they just kept going and they weren't hindered. And this was really good to see. Indiana Fever, there is hope for you yet. Sophie Cunningham, she took 3 shots for the evening, and she did not make any of them. She did score 2 points, and both of them were at the free throw line. I did love a steal that she made that enabled this to happen. We do really miss those cross-court passes, don't we? And the Indiana Fever are really bad at rebounding, and they just out-rebounded the heck out of the Seattle Storm, coming away with 38 rebounds to Seattle's 21. This is a good sign. The turnovers were a little excessive, but they were actually excessive for both teams. The Seattle Storm came away with 17 turnovers. The Indiana Fever only had 15 turnovers, 8 of them being Caitlin Clark's, which normally, isn't a big deal, but she did have more turnovers than points. But, she is a high usage player on the court. So I'm not totally surprised. But coming away with 6 points is kind of crazy for Caitlin Clark. She did also have 9 assists, 3 steals, and 2 rebounds. So, and again, I just want to reiterate, like her impact on the court it was still like extremely high. But I think that the amount of games and how many days that they've played, this like road trip has been really hard on the team. I think that the news of what's been going on with Duana Bonner has to have affected the locker room. Just knowing that there's going to be yet another big one at least, possibly 2 roster moves going on with the team, a team that doesn't ever seem to be able to catch their breath and develop any sort of chemistry or gel or anything without something crazy happening. So honestly, taking away the dub from the Seattle Storm, I think was like necessary, 1 for Caitlin Clark and all of the Indiana Fever, 2 for the fan base, because these Indiana Fever fans, they feel what's going on. They are so invested in this team. And I don't think a lot of people thought that the Fever could pull it off. I was on the fence myself. I was erring towards the fact that they would not pull this one off, to be completely honest. So this was a pleasant surprise. But I will have to say, every single game tonight was like, it was opposite day or something, where everybody that was favored lost and all the underdogs kind of came through. I was watching all the scores as I was making videos about Bonner and stuff, because normally I actually watch the games, but I wasn't able to tonight. And the Minnesota Lynx played the Washington Mystics. Now, keep in mind, the Minnesota Lynx are down Nafisa Collier, but in the previous few games that they played without her, they have pulled through with the wins. And they're playing a Washington Mystics without Brittany Sykes, so it's a lot, it's the young guns, and the Washington Mystics are ranked pretty low in the standings. The Mystics beat the Lynx 68-64. That wasn't the only upset, although this isn't a crazy upset, but the Chicago Sky beat the Los Angeles Sparks 97-86. Camila Cardoso came away with 1,000,000 points. No, I'm just kidding. She came away with 27. And the Dallas Wings beat the Atlanta Dream 68-55. But I do think the Dallas Wings are on a slow pattern of growth as of recently. I actually did my power rankings, and even though they have a worse record than the Chicago Sky, I've seen like a very slow, steady pattern of growth, and so I ranked them above the Chicago Sky. So if, you follow patterns at all, the Seattle Storm beating the Indiana Fever fell into the opposite day narrative. But I am just going to cut this video right here. I'm sure I could have some thoughts tomorrow. Maybe I'll make another video. I haven't even watched any of the pressers, so something might come from that. And who knows what's going to come out of the Duana Bonner situation, what the Indiana Fever's next steps are. So stay tuned, because updates will be following.